Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the breaking team news Arsenal build-up. Tonight, me and I'm going to be joined by Ned any second. Ped will be in later on when he's finished walking his dog or whatever he's doing. The team due to be announced in about 3 or 4 minutes time, so we'll have to wait and see. We've obviously got a much stronger squad than we had last week against Spurs last Friday night. And hopefully, with that stronger squad, we'll bring a better result. Everton needing a victory tonight to stay in contention for European football next season. When we did last Friday, we did not expect stuff that happened over a few days later, which has obviously dominated the week. Arsenal being one of the teams who chose to join this European Super League, which obviously has fallen on its sword for the time being. I don't personally think it's dead in the water. There's protests going on at the Emirates tonight. We know that there's been an absolutely fantastic banner that the Arsenal fans have put up. I'll just read it to you because I think it's absolutely brilliant. Says, "You stole our crest, we stayed. You took our home, we moved. Wherever you went, we followed. Whatever price you demanded, we paid. All for you to go and sell our soul. Say no to the Super League and cronk it out." It's been a mad week, Ned, hasn't it?
I'm happy we did the final word on Tottenham last Friday, because if we did it Monday, it wouldn't have been a final word about the Tottenham game. It would have been a lot of words on something else.
Yeah, it's true.
It's as if, I said this on the podcast, it's not become irrelevant, but it's just become, the Premier League fixtures, they've not become irrelevant, but they've become so overshadowed by an absolute mess, which is football. And is anybody going to be watching the final on Sunday?
People will be watching it, but
who's bothered now? Who's bothered if City wins the title? It's all a mess now. They've created this split in the league now, and there's a massive elephant in the league rather than the room, should I say? So
let me ask you this: do you actually think anything is going to happen to the six?
Absolutely
nothing. Something will happen, but what I mean
there will be a fine. But what's the fine to them owners? They're not going to punish the fans. Obviously, they should do, because they've done it to the likes of Wigan and Bury, Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds. But no, nothing will happen to them. They're the favourite sons, aren't they? Welcome back with open arms. And to be honest, the owners have got what they want. They've got this reformed UEFA Champions League, which is exactly what they wanted in the first place. So, yeah.
Okay. Team
news is in 1 minute.
I tend to agree with you. I thought, but although I don't, the thing is, if the clubs continue to push for it, then the Premier League have to do something. I don't think UEFA will do anything. I really don't. But the Premier League teams have got to continue to push for it, because there's got to be consequences to your actions. So we'll wait and see. Obviously, we're just waiting now for the team news.
Florentino Perez reckons it's the Super League. He reckons, no, you can't back out now. You've signed your contract. So they might end up in their own little mess with that. Might need to be punished.
Well, there's a 170-page contract which he's signed, which quite clearly wasn't put together in.
They probably didn't read the bit where it said if you back out, you will owe us 700 billion
or something. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Obviously, you're expecting the team news anyway.
Right, team news.
Oh, we've got it. Here we go.
Pickford.
Yeah.
Coleman. Godfrey. Holgate. Dean. Allen. Gomez. Sigurdsson. Calvert-Lewin. Rodriguez. Richarlison. So it looks like a 4-3-3 with Coleman, Godfrey, Holgate, Dean.
So Godfrey and Holgate, the centre-backs. Interesting.
Didn't work well against Fulham, did it?
No.
A midfield three of Allen, Gomez and Sigurdsson. Quite slow. And looks like a front three of Calvert-Lewin, Rodriguez and Richarlison.
Okay. Go on then. The bench.
On the bench, Alton, Mina and Konku, Delph, Davies, Broadhead, Iwobi, Bernard and King. Let's get that out on socials.
No Michael Keane. Not even on the bench.
I'm surprised. Are you surprised Mina's not started?
Yeah, I am. Because he's our best defender.
He said he's fit, isn't he?
He's our best defender. But
yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it?
So Broadhead's on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. But then again, I suppose there was only 5. Bernard, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's only 3.
Delph as well, wasn't there?
Delph was always coming back, wasn't he, tonight? So, listen, there you go. There's the team. What's your thoughts? What's the initial thoughts? I mean, Holgate and Godfrey, like you said, against Fulham, it wasn't perfect.
But then at least they've not got Aubameyang or Lacazette.
No, well, that's it. But they have got I think they'll have Martinelli, and they probably have Eddie Nketiah, who's quite bright and sharp. Maybe that's why neither of those 2 players are going to dominate us in the air. But they're both quick and lively, so therefore he's gone for a bit more mobility.
Well, let's have a look at their lineup, and then I'll go and put the lineup on the screen for you. But first, Leto, Chambers, Murray, Holding, Xhaka, Smith Rowe, Saka, Ceballos,
yeah.
Pepe, Thomas Partey, and Eddie Nketiah up front.
Okay.
Interesting. Pepe wasn't great against us at Goodison, was he? Nketiah is
He's a good player. Pepe is a good player. If you let him come in on our left foot, he's a real threat.
Saka's the one. Saka's had a decent season.
Saka's been good. But Coleman, Seamus is normally good 1v1. Yeah, but listen, that's the team. So we can sit here and debate it and go, oh, well, what about him or what about him? But that's all. The manager's got what he's got. And that's quite... who's missing? Michael Keane, Decore and Gabaman. Everybody else is fit now.
So is Keane injured? Because he's in training.
He must be injured, mustn't he? He must have picked up a knock, Michael Keane. For him not to be in the 18, he's definitely picked up a knock.
Let me put that on the screen for you.
You get the teams on the screen. So, yeah, I mean, you've walked away without leaving me the laptop, so I can't do comments at the moment. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. Arsenal. Everton have, not won a game at the Emirates. 24 games it is now. Arsenal have won 20 and we've drawn 4, which is an absolutely abysmal record. Tonight we go to the Emirates. They don't have Aubameyang. They don't have Lacazette. They haven't got Odegaard. They don't have Kieran Tierney. So there's no fans there. So if Everton are ever going to break this hoodoo at the Emirates, the way we did at Anfield, then today, I guess, is the day to do it. But the problem is, the last 4 or 5 games have been must-wins for Everton. We've sat here and gone, if we want to get into Europe, this is a must-win. And we haven't won a game since West Brom away. And, it's beginning to... I'll be honest, I'm still amazed we're within touching distance of European football, given we've had no wins in the last 5 games. We beat West Brom, went to Chelsea, didn't turn up at Chelsea, lost. Come home against Burnley, which should have been we should have beat them. They're near the bottom and we were going for the Champions League places. Got beat by them. Went out in the cup. But then in the league, the last 3 games have been 3 draws. And that was Crystal Palace, Brighton and Tottenham. And we weren't able to beat any of them. So there's got to be a moment where you'd think where Everton get that 3 points and pick the momentum up. Well, it's got to be. The manager said in his press conference yesterday, 5 wins needed from 7 games.
They've put pressure on themselves going out and dropping points against Brighton and Palace and Tottenham, because you're not winning them games. It makes this game an even bigger must-win.
And let's be honest,
it's only themselves to blame.
I can't sit here and say we deserve to win at Brighton, because we didn't.
We don't even deserve to get in Europe this season. Pass.
We didn't deserve any. We got a point at Brighton because we defended well. We didn't deserve to win the game. But Palace and Spurs, we created 34 opportunities. We should have won both games. There's no one can tell me any difference. We battered Spurs really. We should have beat them.
I understand what you mean with the Palace, but when you can say, "Oh, we should have beat them," and we deserve.
We had 6 big chances.
I know, but we missed them.
No, I know, but we had 6 big. We had 6 big chances.
Clearly aren't good. Well, not aren't good enough, but weren't good enough on their day.
No, but what I'm saying to you is the moments have been there, the opportunities have been there to win those games.
Chances.
And now we're going into a game where we should be looking at this opportunity to say, yeah, we haven't won at the Emirates for 24 years, whatever. Now's the time to do it.
Let's do some comments.
Go on, what's going on in the comments?
Let's see over on Patreon. Benjamin Fairclough is in at number 1. He says, "Come on, boys, let's get the W today."
Mm-hmm.
Michael Woods, let's do the money grabbing Gooner Schmitters 2-0 to the Blues and positive to the Toffee Picks. And You're very optimistic, Michael, but bear in mind these are a super elite team. And this is going to be a tough game. I'd be surprised if they don't 4-0 us being such a... They're basically an Avenger, aren't they?
Stop it.
Paul
Do your Toffee Picks, by the way. You've heard the team. You've got
not long left to do them.
Another, 54 minutes to go to get your Toffee Picks in.
What have you gone on your Toffee Picks?
I've gone for 2-1 Everton. Even though I think it's a tough game, but I've gone 2-1 Everton.
I think I put 2-2 or something. I'll find out later. Paul Catterall, Delph with the squad tonight. Come on, you Blues. Hope you get the 3 points tonight. Jay Munsey, 2-0, please Blues. Michael Woods, let us know when you're on kickoff. So on your stream, guys. Well, there'll be a timer on the stream, so you know where we're up to. But it'll be behind because YouTube's behind anyway. Gary Ward, come on, you Blues. Jay Munsey, let's see how tonight. Let's see how much they talk when the Super League BS and nothing about tonight's match. I won't be surprised because it's like on Monday Night Football they didn't talk about the Liverpool and Leeds game, did they? Or the Leeds and Leeds game? No. I mean, normally when we were on last week or the week, whenever it was, I think it was the Brighton game actually. The Brighton game. They showed Liverpool.
They opened the first 15-20 minutes with Liverpool.
They were talking about Trent all night.
Yeah, so... I'm not really. It is what it is. It'll go on at 2 minutes to 8 when they're coming out, and that'll be it with that.
Gareth Hughes nervous about tonight, but I fancy us. Let's punish one of the Sly Six because the authorities won. Ryan Elliott, I don't mind them not having a punishment as long as there is a massive catalyst for a huge change in football. Salary caps, transfer caps, etc. I still would like a punishment for them, but if it serves the greater good, I can live with it. Yeah, I suppose. Big Jan's glad to see Nkunku on the bench. Go over to YouTube. Andy Unsworth, I'd love to beat these European giants tonight.
That's it, isn't it?
So would I.
That's the challenge. The challenge is there. Listen, they beat us, they go above us, which is, Arsenal haven't had a good season. So for them to be able to go above us shows how much we've put the brakes on. We were miles ahead of them at one stage. However, that's the incentive for the players, isn't it? The incentive is beat them, put the 6 points between us, we'd still have a game in hand, and they would be very much on the back foot then. The biggest thing Everton can't do tonight is lose. Don't let them overtake us. But we've got to win the game. If we don't win tonight, the games are just disappearing. So it's a big, big game.
Surprisingly, the Super 6 teams, I know two of them. I know Tottenham won 2-1 and City won 2-1.
Spurs with it.
They've not really been that. Liverpool got a point against Leeds. Chelsea dropped points. They got a point against Brighton. Spurs weren't that great against...
they got out of jail. They had a 90th minute penalty.
They went 1-0 down. And City went 1-0 down against Villa. Both teams had 10 men. They come back.
City,
2-1.
I watched City. City played like it was an exhibition.
They are super though, aren't they? But
the others aren't.
Arsenal aren't that great, so...
No.
Damien Hagen says, can I change my prediction? Going out with that midfield, we ain't doing that much. What's your thoughts on the midfield three then? If it is a midfield three, obviously it's slow, but...
Well, it will be a midfield three, but...
Gomez might be fresh.
What was the options? The options would have been Tom Davies in there, and Peter Davies on the bench. Not is he? Hang on.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he is on the bench, right? Okay. Well, the only other option really would have been Tom Davies, wouldn't it? Otherwise, Delph's not playing, is he? Delph, we haven't, seen the sight and the sound of him since December. I know he come back on the bench for a game and then declared himself injured again for another 3 months. What? So the midfield options aren't there anyway, are they?
Everyone's asking why is the game. Do you think the game will be called off if they call the game off? Why is everyone saying the game's going to be called off?
Because of the protests. No, the game.
Protest at Emirates.
Yeah, the game will be played.
They're not going to call it on Sky.
Yeah, they're not calling the game off. The game will be played.
Money, money, money.
There's no. Well, the thing about it is it's scheduled as well. Do you know what I mean? It's the scheduling of the games.
The Chelsea team just couldn't get into the ground, could they?
No, and they still played. So no.
Petr Cech got off and sorted them all out, didn't he? Let the players in.
Yeah. No, it'll definitely be played.
David Sullivan says, evening lads, is there any news on when our game against Aston Villa away is going to be played, or have they forgotten about us? It looks like we're playing them at home on the Sunday, start of May.
No, the first of May, Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
another great one.
And then we're playing the Sunday.
West Ham the following Sunday.
So they might just put it on the Wednesday after we played Villa. So it might be Villa at home, Villa away in a few days later. So
it'll either be that week, or I think Villa play the week after.
I thought it would end up, because originally Palace was on a Saturday and Brighton was on the next Saturday. So I thought it would have been the Wednesday, but they moved those games to Mondays. God knows why. God knows why Everton said, yeah, go on then.
I think it will go from. It'll be Villa at home and Villa away. I think it'll be.
Yes, I think so.
Which is ridiculous to play them twice in 4 or 5 days, but that's what it'll be.
You'll both be knackered, won't they?
It's so stupid, isn't it? Because the Wolves game will be moved as well, the last home game.
Or it'll be moved to after
it'll
the
be moved
game,
to it'll be moved to the in between. It'll be moved, go from Saturday to Wednesday.
What's happening with the FA Cup final?
15th. It's just getting played. Which is berserk, because it should never be in the season. It's nonsense. Ruins it,
so
as it is.
They're having fans there, aren't they?
Fans, yeah. So that's the first one. So therefore the Wolves game means that Everton can have fans back in if they move the game. So the game will be moved from the Saturday to the Wednesday. So what'll happen is every fixture on the 15th that weekend, because the plan is for everybody to have one game with fans. So every fixture over that weekend will be moved to the midweek, because there can be no one. The public can't go in to watch any kind of game until after the 17th of May, which is the Monday. So all of the weekend games will be moved to the midweek, so that everybody gets a home game with fans, and then those teams who are at home in the midweek play the final day of the season away, and they'll play in a stadium where everybody else has got fans. So everyone gets one home game with fans in before the season finishes. So
I was going to say, so we would have played at the Molineux this season, haven't we? Beat them, didn't we?
But the other thing is with that, what's happening with this? Is there going to be any points? Is there going to be stuff for next season? Is there anything hanging over these teams? I've heard transfer ban. Liverpool have just come out and announced they've practically done the Konate deal from Leipzig, who's a good defender, for 35 million, trying to get their deal done, because people are saying they're going to get a transfer ban because of this, which I can't see. But so there's still a lot of permutations up in the air. Like I said before, it's going to take some balls to bulls as well. It's going to take throw balls in. That'll make the Super League interesting. It's going to take some balls by the Premier League to turn around and kick their ass, but they need to, and they need to, because you have to show that the consequences are there. I've seen people say it's treason. It kind of is.
You nailed it on the edit today when you said it's like going into a bank with guns, and then the police showed up and go, "Oh, sorry." Yeah. Because they've already bought the rules, haven't they?
Of course
they released statements.
They've done it. They signed contracts. So there's the rule broken.
What's your thoughts on Woodward coming out saying, the reason I've resigned is because I was against the Super League, yet he resigned from the ECA because he was involved with it?
Someone said it's nonsense. He's trying to cover his own thing. It'd be very interesting if he was against it and that was real. But I wouldn't believe Woodward if he told me it was Friday today, to be honest.
Josh Creedy says, is King just in case of an emergency player? Surely worth a punt starting him and bringing DCL on at some point. He was a very last minute buy, wasn't he? And if he didn't sign him, we'd have still been mourning now, especially if he went to Fulham and he was doing well at Fulham. Because that is the thing of not having a backup. But even with DCL being out, we still haven't played him. But it gives you the option, doesn't it? He just mustn't be doing it in training. Obviously, he's not had a start yet, and he's not really shown enough coming off the bench. But he just mustn't be doing it in training. What do you think? Yeah,
well, that can be the only thing, isn't it? He was brought in he's come in as an emergency, hasn't he? He's come in as cover. Everton have they paid a nominal fee for him, a loan fee till the end of the season. Well, they made the decision. He's come in. Everton have got him fit. The manager's had to look at him and obviously doesn't think that he's better than Richarlison or Dom. And feels as though he's not where to go at the moment. I think there's been games when Josh King should have started. I think the biggest kick in the plums for him was being injured for the Brighton game. I think, given how many injuries we had in that Brighton game, if he'd have been fit, he'd have started, I think, with Richarlison. And it might have got him going. Don't forget, he come on last Friday for the last 15 minutes against Spurs, and he almost won it for us. You know, Lloris made a good save from him. If that had gone in, it might have, turned Carlo's head a little bit. It looks very unlikely that Everton will keep him, even though he'll be free, won't he? And he's got the Premier League experience.
He's shown he can come on and inject a bit of pace and change. And
he's a good player. He's a good player. It's whether
he did all right coming off the bench against United.
It's whether he's good enough for Everton, isn't it? That's the ultimate thing. You need players in your squad who have got good levels in them. He's got good levels in him. But I understand a lot of people will be like, get rid of him in the summer.
Also, if Carlo really wants to get Europe, so we do end up getting Europe, which is still in our reach, and then he's a player that would be free. He can play up front. He can play on the wing. He's good enough to be playing the Europa League. It's games where you've won your first 3 games. You're going through. Give your first teams a rest. Play King. If you let him go, then we need a winger anyway. But they need to go get possibly a striker or then another backup winger, because he's someone who can do both.
He's going to have options in the summer.
Exactly.
He's not. I don't think Josh King now.
There'll be other teams.
Will stay at Everton. Galatasaray won him. A couple of Italian clubs won him. There's a couple. Norwich City won him.
Teams like Watford.
There's another. Watford are coming up. They might want him, and he's free. He's 29. Experienced, and can score goals in the Premier League. So yeah, it's been a bit disappointing we haven't seen him, but the manager makes the decisions. He sees him every day.
Don't forget, we're going to do a watch along for the game tonight, and we'll be leaving shortly to get set up for that. So make sure you stick around. We're still on for what, another 10, 12 minutes. So yeah. We'll be on then. We'll be back on at 5 to 8 to do the watch along. So if you're interested in having us on in the background while you watch the match, then you're more than welcome to come and join us for it. If you're not, sound. Go on, what's happening in the comments? Go on. Alan H from Patreon says, on the Super League 12, they should all have a season ban from Europe and a season transfer ban. I think the season ban from Europe is the one that you'd at least expect. But the president of the Premier League has come out and said, they will be punished. But that's not saying that it'll be a 10 grand fine. Which is like,
I think what the fairest thing to do. People are talking about docking them points. If you wanted to kick their ass properly.
When you say fair, look what the EFL did to Wigan for something.
No. So I'm saying people want them severely punished for trying to break away.
Which would be fair.
So then the options to that, I've seen something today. The option to it is a 12 points deduction from the start of next season and banned from Europe for a year by the Premier League. Because the Premier League, they choose the teams that are nominated to go forward into the Champions League and the Europa League. And the Premier League normally says, well, that's easy. 1 to 4 is the Champions League, 5 and 6 is the Europa League. And if a team from the top 6 wins the FA Cup, then the 7th place team in the Premier League goes into it. And that's how they allocate their European places. So they could easily turn around now and go, you 6 have got a 12-point deduction for the start of next season, or a 9-point deduction at the start of next season, you're -9. And then you're also, we're banning you from Europe for a season because you all resigned from the ECA. And what we're doing is we're giving 7 teams the European places for next season on where they finish. So whoever it is. So at the moment it'd be Leicester, West Ham, Everton, and Aston Villa who'd go in the Champions League.
I'm sick of seeing people saying you can't punish the fans because literally Wigan and Sheffield Wednesday both got the punishments at the same time by the EFL, But they said, Wigan, you're going down this season, and Sheffield Wednesday, you can have your points taken off next season.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
And anything that makes it a lot worse on the Wigan fans. But who was moaning about the punishing the fans back then?
It's not about... I understand the argument. I fully understand.
So do I, but how...
I understand the point of view. Oh, it's the fans
how
again.
do you punish the owners without punishing
the fans
the
again? But at the end of the day, saying to the owners, you're getting fined £10 million. They're not bothered. It's not gonna touch the sides. It's like when you see countries like Montenegro making racist remarks at players, and the FA, they get fined £2,400, or clubs have been fined. It's like Nicholas Bentner got fined more for having Paddy Power on his bills than what some of these countries have had for racist remarks at players and the way they've carried on. Disgusting. Hooliganism, this, that and the other. They give them nominal fines. It means nothing. It means not. Those 6 clubs, if the Premier League come out and went, you're all getting fined £10 million each, do you think any of them are bothered? They just be like, we got away with that, lads. But if the Premier League come out and go, listen, you broke the rules. The rules are there. They're there to protect all of you, all 20 of us. They're there for. And you 6 decided to do your own thing. You broke them. Therefore, you're having a points deduction because it's the only thing we can do. And we are putting forward these teams for European football next season, not you. You'll have a 1-year ban from Europe. And that's it.
I'm just so thankful that Gary Neville saved football.
Did he?
Boris Johnson, you can't forget about Boris Johnson.
Did Gary Neville save football?
Monday Night Football saved us. He spoke out, and that's what saved football, apparently.
I heard it was Henderson and Kenny Dalglish and others.
They all hold themselves accountable, don't they? Boris Johnson reckon he's the man who saved football.
What's in the comments? Because people are here and we're not really talking to them.
Don Robbio says Everton were banned from Europe in '85 because of Liverpool. Imagine if he turned around and said,
correct.
Lads, this is all your fault. Everton, you're banned from the Premier League. That's all your fault. Wouldn't surprise you, would it?
Next. Well, it would surprise me because it's got nothing to do with us.
Don Robbio also says, at the very least of them, 6 should serve a 2-year ban from Europe.
I don't... yeah. I just don't see that happening because I think UEFA would... maybe UEFA would go with 1 year. I think they could take the hit for 1 year without being able to mark it. Think of what we're saying here. We're saying those 12 clubs... I mean, we can only talk about our clubs. Maybe the other leagues won't be bothered. Because UEFA aren't going to ban them. So, yeah, it won't be 12, will it? Because the other 6 won't get... They won't. Nothing will happen to them, especially Spain. Barcelona and Real Madrid run Spain anyway, so it won't matter to them. Serie A, they're probably not arsed either. But the Premier League, UEFA, you're doing without Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, Tottenham and Arsenal in Europe next season. Maybe they'd do it for 1 season, but I think that'd be the maximum they'd want.
Oscar says if they punish them too heavily, they'll just sell and go. They won't be hurt. It's the clubs that'll suffer. Seems unfair. Who would come and buy Liverpool now for God knows how much they're worth, or City? That's
Liverpool's...
FSG won't sell because look at they made probably 10 times, at least 5 or 10 times what the worth of the club than what they bought it for, because the club was...
Yeah, they bought it for
what? Bought it off Americans.
200 and odd, 300 million. It's worth about 2 billion now, something like that.
And it was probably worth most when they were won the Champions League or title.
John Henry.
They're not going to sell.
FSG are acquiring clubs. They're not about to sell Liverpool. Kroenke's not about to sell Arsenal. Glazers aren't about to sell Manchester United. These fellas live in America and in other places. They don't... John Henry ain't living in Anfield, is he? In a flat in Anfield or whatever. He's not walking around the city having to deal with Liverpool fans. He's living in Boston or wherever he goes on holiday or whatever, where no one will care about Liverpool. They might support him. They're not going to go up to him and go, it's just not going to happen. The same with the Glazers. The Glazers have done all sorts to Manchester United. All sorts. And there's been protests, standing, turning around, walking out, this, that and the other. Nothing's changed. Arsenal, I've read the banner they've got at the Emirates tonight, the things that Kroenke's done.
They've wanted Kroenke out for years. Do you
They
think
have.
he's bothered?
He just laughs at them. Instead, in
do you
fact,
think he knows?
they wanted them out. They were, boycotting, they were abusing, there was this, that and the other. And what happened? He ended up outseeing Usmanov and buying Usmanov, serious. Because Usmanov, don't forget Usmanov offered him. I think Arsenal was valued at 750 million, 800 million. And Usmanov offered something like double that, 1.5, 1.6 billion for Arsenal. And Kroenke was just laughing and said there's no chance I'd ever sell to him. And it's a legacy thing for my family. It'll never be sold. Josh Kroenke was on yesterday talking, saying no intention, be excited. And what'll happen is these clubs will buy some players in the summer and a lot of fans will go, right, all right, we need to move on now. We've got a thing. Let's see what we can do this season. It'll happen. So there was a Liverpool fan on yesterday. And you know what? I'm not having a go at him because he's a Liverpool fan, because I think a lot of football fans would be in the same boat. But he said, what the owners need to do now for us to forgive them is go and buy Kylian Mbappe. If they buy him in the summer, everything's sound, we'll move on. And that's it. That's the top and bottom of it, because we all want our football club to be successful, to be buying exciting players. This has caused a stink this week because these people try to destroy our game, the way our game is, the fabric of it. And there's a lot of people outraged, and there's a lot of fantastic people who will be protesting and who won't give a toss whether their club signs Kylian Mbappe or Haaland or anybody else, as long as they get what they want, which is the purity of their club back. But these owners they're not bothered. They're not going to sell up. They're billionaires, multi-billionaires, because they are hard-nosed and because they don't care about criticism and because they do make tough choices. It's just not happening.
Steve Lamb is in the comments. Sat on couch now with a nice brew and some cookies pinched from Ned's bedroom. You need to hide them better, young fella, expecting another night of disappointment, but you never know.
Oh, it's good that he's upbeat.
That's funny because those cookies are stale. So enjoy them. I put them there because I knew you'd pinch him. Enjoy those stale cookies. Right, last couple. Meg versus Jake. Hello, Baz. Hello, Ned. Do you think if we sit off tonight, it will work? Let him have a run at us for once, because Godfrey Holgate will not have any problem tonight unless a good ball gets played through. Come on, you Blues. It's quite... The lineup suggests that it's quite a... Not attacking, but our most attacking lineup that we could have played, possibly.
Well, it is, isn't it? I think the manager knows he's got to... He knows we've got to win the game. He's said 5 wins from 7. Well, you can't keep chalking games off and going...
And Arsenal aren't the one who...
We'll win next week.
Arsenal don't play a high line and come at you, do they? And plus when they've not got their best attacking players. So they'll probably sit back and let us go at them. So we've got to take advantage of it, to be honest. We had more possession against Tottenham last week and we did well going at them. So why not give these a go? They've got no out ball, so... But we might be quite comfortable at the back.
I do massively. I've seen a lot of people.
I am being very optimistic.
No, it's not optimistic.
That's completely gone against us this season.
I don't even think it's that. I think people are very much underplaying, like Nicolas Pepe, who cost 72 million. They're underplaying Nketiah, who's quite bright. They're underplaying Saka, who's very good. You know, I think you look at Thomas Partey in midfield. People are looking at... I've seen loads of Evertonians gone 3-0, comfortable. But I think it's a difficult one. Sandra Dela Cruz, hello Sandra. Lila says there'll be no one outside Anfield tomorrow. I think there will be, Lila. They have Spirits of Shankly have set it up. I think there will be big demonstrations. Ginello says, imagine not caring that thousands, millions of people rightly despising you. These owners lack emotions. Of course, mate, but that's out the way they are, isn't it, really? If you think about it. I think when you look at it, because they're not in the city, they're not even in the country, but they're not in the city. Ned, we said 25-2, and it's only 7:30. Another couple of minutes, chill. Because they're not actually in the city, it's not in the faces like it is with us fans. And you're talking about millions of fans. Let's be honest, a lot of the big Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, huge fan bases around the world, they're not here anyway, are they? So to them, a lot of those fans won't have been brought up on our football pyramid, brought up the way we are, brought up with this structure. So to a lot of people, and to a lot of younger people, playing FIFA and playing Liverpool v Real Madrid and Arsenal v Barcelona, and in their mind, those games will create this pure, exciting league. Whereas us who have been brought up on less attractive games, we look at it and go, you'd soon be bored with that. And the lads who we spoke to here have said exactly the same. So, I don't know. Ludwig Smith says, why is Holgate starting and not Mina? I think because Carlos picked him. I don't know. Also says Keane and Holgate look like Arsenal's defence against Tottenham. Field TV says, I'm happy Martinelli doesn't play. I think when every youngster in the Premier League are at their best, I think he's the best youngster. He's got loads of talent, hasn't he? But it's definitely going to be an interesting one without a shadow to see how we do. Angela Webb says, come on you Blues. Indeed, Angela. Sol says, if you think the Prem are bad, La Liga are a whole different world. Corrupt is an understatement. Real Madrid are allowed to buy their B team out of relegation. Yeah, we know what happened with Real Madrid. Real Madrid sold a training ground for 500 million when it was worth about 30 million to get a new one. It's absolutely berserk. Jamie B says, I always trust Carlo, to be honest. Sure, there's a reason for every player to be on that pitch. Yeah. Leslie Wainwright says, these guys are just businessmen. The club to them is just like having a corner shop. It is. It's a business. It's that's what they do, don't they? That's what they do. June's been quite harsh with Carlo, says Walter Smith, Mark II. Okay, fair enough. Entitled to your opinions, June. Everyone else is. Steve P96 says, I hope we go for Anguissa this summer. Very underrated and we'll get him for a good price. He's got the second highest successful dribbles in the league. I think he'd be perfect for us. He'd be good for us because he can travel with the ball, but he can also do the other bits. He's mobile, he's big and strong. So, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, we're going to be, like I say, we're going to be doing a watch along, basically because it's coming to the end, all this, isn't it? We're going to be back in the stadium soon. There was news last night that Britain is no longer in a pandemic, the way the country's mapping out, which means it's good. So, things are beginning to move. So therefore, we will be back in the stadium soon. So, like I said, we're just doing this because it's a Friday night. There's not many games left anyway, and it's just something to do, isn't it? So if you want to join us, we'll be back on at 5 to 8 for the whole game, and then we'll do a bit after the game as well. So before we go, can I please get congratulations, this is off Fernando Murphy, to his cousin Brendan and his wife, who are having a new wee blue in June. Brendan and Jen, congratulations, all the best, fantastic, new little Evertonian on his way, or her way. Outstanding. Yeah, so when people saying it's mad outside the Emirates, well, it will be, but the footy's played inside, isn't it? So I don't think it'll make any difference, to be honest with you. Oscar Paxson says, can't wait to get back in to Goodison Park. Absolutely, Oscar, absolutely. So, I mean, a few more of you could have hit the like button. 530 watching and 108 likes. Come on. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're very close to that 50,000. Thank you very much. Like I say, we are now going to we're going to have some food now, because last week we were doing it while the match was on. So we're going to do it now, and we'll be back at 5 to 8. So join us for the watch along. Why don't you? And we'll do a bit after the game as well. So we will see you soon. Sandra Dela Cruz, hello. Right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll see you back at 5 to 8 if you're interested in watching a watch along with us. See you later.